Please make your way to your chairs. Please get seated. We can't have people like standing around in the sides. We actually need everybody seated during the meeting. It's going to get very confusing, and potentially everyone's going to trip over each other. So please make your way to your seats now.
Sorry, it's going to interrupt. Excuse me. Can we ask them if we can vote?
We'll be starting in 1 minute. Please make your way to your seats. We're going to be starting in 1 minute.
With us on council.
Was. No, I'm just.
Well, I said once.
Helping.
Yeah, once.
But
No,
yeah,
you're
I'm on the good side.
I was
don't
telling
worry.
him, let's have a mock.
A what? He wants to have a mock debate.
Like I played the Zionist.
We actually good practice.
It is good.
He rejected.
Well, I don't want to filibuster already.
Oh, you mean during this?
No, like 2-3
You're
minutes.
now.
Okay.
Literally, you're the judge.
And please make your way to your seats now. Everyone who's please standing around, I need you to take your seats so we can start the meeting.
All right.
All right, everyone. Please make your way to your seats now. We're going to start the meeting. I really mean it. Please make your way to your seats. We're going to start. So I'm now going to call this meeting to order. It is 7:07 p.m. Thank you, everyone, for being so patient while we worked out everything in the other mezzanine. For the people outside, thank you very much for joining us. But just as we begin, I want to do a acknowledgement of country, a land acknowledgement. And begin the meeting by acknowledging that Concordia University is located on unceded Indigenous lands. The Kanien'kehá:ka Nation is recognized as the custodians of the lands and waters in which we gather today. Tiohtià:ke, Montreal, is historically known as a gathering place for many First Nations. Today, it is home to a diverse population of Indigenous and other peoples. We respect the continued connections of the past, present, and future in our ongoing relationships with Indigenous and other peoples within the Montreal community. And I think this is a very important acknowledgement to have at the beginning of a meeting such as this, and really all the meetings that the CSU holds. So we're called to order. Quorum has obviously been met, so that's a good thing. Yes, essentially, let me just double check. Apologies, we're just putting things together. What we need to do first, so because this meeting was called to me as the CSU chairperson, then that's why I'm the chair of this meeting today. My name's Maya Walmsley. That's why I'm up the front and organizing this meeting. But I have with me 3 people at the moment, hopefully to operate as what's called the presidium. So we have someone to be an assistant to the chair, someone to be a vibe checker and also just to generally help out with anything happening in the room. And we also have someone to take minutes. And we need to appoint these people as a meeting. So it'll be the first test of us knowing how to vote. So that would be very nice. Do we have a list of the people ready for the board? Yes or no? Okay. Yes. So I'm going to get one of the promoters of the petition to come up and ask for us to appoint the presidium with the names.
Hello. Sorry, that's loud. Thank you all for coming. This is pretty awesome. Just give yourselves a round of applause. So I am going to put this motion to appoint the minute taker, Martha Bursterde, the mood watcher, Gray Lorbetsky, and assistant to chair, Becca Wilgosh, with the minute keeper and the mood taker might switch sometime during this meeting if it goes long, and they're obviously tired because it's not easy to do their work. So, thank you.
Yeah. All right, so I, Dana Ballantyne, second petitioner, would like to second this motion.
Thank you. The motion has been forwarded and seconded. I know it's ridiculous, but I need to call a vote, and this is just a good practice for you to use your cards. Could all those in favor of appointing the presidium as sitting here, please raise your placards now. So raise them nice and high. Thank you. Okay, please put them down. All down, please. All those against, please raise your placards. Thank you. Hands down. So the motion passes, and can I please ask the assembly to stay in order? So the motion passes for the presidium. So just to give you an idea, just to run through, I guess, the brief of the agenda. So just to foreground this meeting and make sure everybody knows how to participate, I'm just going to use a bit of chair privilege to explain the rules so we all know the basics. After that, just because we have forewarning of this, the people who promoted the petition have put forward a suggested set of rules for us to debate, essentially discuss the motions, and so how we proceed with the motions. Then we have the motions, and then the meeting adjourns. So it's a special General Assembly. It means we can only discuss the motions that have been put in advance, if we want to alter them or anything like that, how we want the meeting to go, but we can't just add something random to the agenda. Just to give you an idea, it's just like we're here to discuss this one issue. We can't just like start slamming other stuff in at the end. But I just want to go through the rules of order very quickly. Who has this little sheet? The rules of order, cute little things. Some of you do. Okay, great. This is just like a little primer on how the meeting is going to go. Essentially, we are going to advance the agenda point by point, and essentially it's just going to be this little presentation, then the procedural motion, then discussion on the item. So that's the main motion, is the motion that we're discussing tonight. So this is a democratic assembly. This is an organization, it's a student union of members, which means that you have a right to vote, but also to decide the direction of the union. And that means you have a right to speak, and it also means you have a right to amend the motion, suggest ways in which the meeting can be changed, or if you want the debate to continue or to stop. Amending a motion is the way that you can suggest changes. Essentially, all of this requires you to do is that we have two microphones? Oh yeah, 2 microphones. I just couldn't see the other one, the angle. There are 2 microphones. You see them on the little stands? These are where you stand if you want to speak on an item. So you stand there, there'll be a queue, and we'll alternate between the microphones. This is if you want to stand up to speak on a point, if you want to raise an amendment on a point, or any of these other things, essentially. Go up to those microphones. That's where you're going to be able to speak. We're just going to do it in order and just go between the 2. So that's the idea. There's a couple of tools in here. I don't really want to go through them in detail. But if you have questions about the rules of order, that's part of what the text line is about. But this is just to give you tools on how to approach the meeting if you want to make an intervention. But in essence, we're going to debate the motions. You're going to have the right to put forward your point of view and suggest changes. For any substantial changes, you put it forward. I need specific wording if you're going to suggest changes, not something vague. I need to know exactly what part of the motion you're going to change. And then someone in the assembly has to second the motion. For the first and the seconders, I need your names for the minutes, just to be clear. And I'm also going to ask people when they step up to the microphone to just give a name. Just first name is fine, just so we can record who has spoken down when we're trying to keep track of who's on the speaking list, for example. Otherwise, it's going to get out of control for us very quickly. But I'll remind you as this meeting goes along. Yes, essentially that is the brief of it. We're just going to go through and discuss the motion. So in terms of voting, the way I'm going to conduct it, generally speaking, is essentially a bit of a visual check. For those people who are outside on the mezzanine, we have people there who are communicating with us to give us a general indication of who's voting for what. If it's pretty obvious, I'm not going to ask us to count the votes because that is a waste of everybody's time. It's going to take forever. I will do a final count on the main motions at the very end because I think that'll be important. It's a big motion, but for anything else, any amendments, if it's not close, there's no point. I'm only going to do start counting the votes if it's close, which might mean you've got to put your hands up for a little bit. We have some people from the Graduate Student Union who are going to be counting each section. They've been asked to double count, and then we're tallying up the votes. So it's a big procedure. You might have to have your hand up for a minute or so, but I'm going to remind you. So that's essentially how the meeting is going to go down. Yes, and with that, I would like to suggest that the promoters of the petition put forward their procedural motion for how we should do the meeting, which is currently up on the screen.
Yes, hi. So again, Dana Valentine. I would like to motion to adopt the following procedural rules for this meeting. The first being that the promoters of the petition, being us 3 at the front, have 10 minutes at the top of the agenda to present both motions. Second being that there be a 3-minute time limit for first interventions, a 2-minute time limit for responses, and a maximum of 3 interventions per person per motion. I would also like to motion that both motions on the agenda be voted en bloc, meaning together with one vote, and that the motions be immediately voted on should debate last longer than 2 hours. Thank you.
Can I have a seconder for this procedural motion? Okay, David Plant, seconder for this motion. Do we have any debate?
I'd like to move to amend.
Yes. Can I have a? Can I hear amendment?
Absolutely. The amendment is just to remove clause D, the maximum interventions per person per motion. It might actually violate Robert's rules as well, by the way.
We can suspend the rules of order and Robert's rules. Just point of order. But even still, the amendment is totally acceptable. Do I have a? Can I have a name for this amendment?
I have to give you my name?
Yes. What's the point of order? I'm asking for a name. That's it. I'm just doing it because we have to record in the minutes who is firsting and seconding amendments and motions. If someone else, like, I'm asking to provide a name. I mean, I'm not checking, but we need to record in the minutes who has put forward the motions.
All right, in that case, I'm going to give you a name. Jean Cloutier.
Okay, all right. Do we have a seconder? I'm not going to check everybody's student IDs when they come up to forward and second everything. Every single person who's come in here has been checked to make sure that they're a member of the student union. So we just need this for the minute-taking purposes. Do I have a seconder for this amendment? I need someone to say a name. Ryan, thank you. Seconder for this amendment. So now we're discussing this amendment. So the discussion about this motion, at the moment, we're putting that to the side. And now we're discussing whether to accept this amendment, which is to remove Section D, maximum of 3 interventions per person per motion. Do I have any speakers on this motion? Would the person you'd like to put it forward, perhaps you have a right to motivate it first if you'd like.
Yeah, no. It's essentially just that I absolutely agree with having a time limit for interventions. That's perfectly normal. That being said, I think having a maximum of interventions per person limits their ability to participate in direct democracy, which is what we're here for. So that's my problem with it.
All right, great. I can invite, if anyone else would like to speak, they please come up to the microphones. Okay, are you coming up to speak? Okay, all right, another speaker?
I would just like to say that regarding this amendment, I think the biggest thing is if we only have 2 hours to debate, we wouldn't want this to turn into 2 people arguing at each other, which is why I think per motion is fair. I think it's going to be a very long meeting, so I don't want 2 people arguing with each other.
Thank you. Any other discussion on this point? Okay, just to clarify, first intervention is when you first go up to the microphone to speak to a point, and then the other responses is when you go to speak again. So it's essentially 3 minutes for the first time, 2 minutes for each following time. Yep, and it resets per motion. So for example, if we discuss an amendment to a main motion, the amount of times you can speak resets to 3. So you can speak 3 times to an amendment, but only to an amendment. Do I have any other discussion on this item?
Okay, all right. Can I speak?
Please have order in the room, please?
Okay.
Order.
Okay, so do I. All right. I very much disagree with the 2 or 3 time intervention per person. I mean, I feel like if you're having this debate, we have to meaningfully have this debate. I feel like people should be able to, again, talk for as many turns as they need. It could be less, it could be more. I mean, I feel like that's pretty basic. And I agree. I don't know who made the point before, but another fellow member of the CSU made a point that in order for direct democracy to work, you need to be able to debate. You need to be able to debate, and I don't think there should be a 3-person limit because I think that severely hampers that.
Okay, thank you. We have the next speaker up there.
None of us really want to be here. We all wanted to vote
Okay,
and go
order
home.
in the room, please.
None of us really want to be here. We all want to vote, and okay, you guys want to be here, and I'm proud of you. We just want to vote, and we want to go home. I support keeping the 3 interventions per person and just get this over with as fast as possible. We all have assignments. We have work to do. We have shit to do. So let's get this going as fast as we can.
Thank you. We'll keep the meeting in order. The next speaker.
Yeah, I think the point's pretty simple. If you don't want to be here, if you don't want to sit through this to get to the end of the conversation, go home. We don't care. But at the end of the day, if there's points to be made and discussions to be had, those people have the right to make that point for as long as they need to get the point across. So if you don't want to stay and see this through to the end, you're welcome to go home.
Any other discussion on this amendment? You just walk up to the microphone to be recognized. Yeah.
What? No? Just one. I'll make it fast.
So on the right first.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, comrades, and the others. Just a second.
Please
a second.
keep the meeting in order.
Calm down. You'll have plenty of time to speak. The thing is, the former are the proof that we need this time limit and that we need a limit on timing and the number of times. Because we're going to have this debate for a long time. Believe me, I'm a counselor for Gina Cody. Drew knows this. We've been on council and we go on for hours and hours, and we're just 20 people. Imagine if all these people want to do responses and debates. It won't end. So vote against this amendment and vote for the promoter's motion.
The meeting will be in order. I recognize the speaker on the left. Please just provide a name when you go up to speak as well, if possible.
Usli, and I'd like to call the question.
Do I have a seconder to call the question? Okay, can I have a name, please? Alex. Okay, so a seconder calling the question means that we immediately vote on whether to end debate and go to a vote. So I know it's silly, but we vote on whether to vote. And it requires a 2/3 majority to pass. All those in favor, please raise your hands to call the vote, which means we cease discussion and we vote on the amendment. If you're inside, please put down your hand. Okay, thank you. All those against, please raise your hand. Members will be in order. Thank you. No booing. Thank you. Hand down. The motion passes, which means the vote has been called, which means we proceed immediately to a vote on the amendment. The amendment is whether we remove item D, which is maximum 3 interventions per motion. So if you're voting for this, that means you're voting for item D to stay in this procedural motion. Is that clear? So, okay. What it means, if you vote yes, that means item D stays. Sorry. Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, sorry, it's the opposite. This is why I have a chair assistant. If you vote for this amendment, it's going to remove item D. If you vote against this amendment, it means you want it to stay. For, remove. Okay. In order, please. All those in favor of removing point D, maximum 3 interventions per person per motion, please raise your hand. Yes, this is the amendment. We're voting on the amendment on whether to remove point D, maximum 3 interventions per person per motion. If you vote yes, you want item D to be removed. Okay, hands down. All those against, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Hands down. Okay, so the amendment fails. We go back to discussing the main procedural motion, which is this set of rules here. Do I have any speakers on this item? I recognize the person on the left.
Hi, I wanted to make a suggestion to add a point.
What is the suggestion specifically?
Basically, I want to suggest that if 2 different people come up to intervene and they're saying the exact same thing, that the person who's saying the same thing as someone who already went cannot then continue with the rest of their 2 interventions.
This is kind of difficult for me to enforce as a chair. I should say, like, if the debate is going in circles, I will start telling people you need to make new points.
Okay.
That's my ability as an authority as a chair. Like, I can't be so strict on it, but like, if it is the same point again and again, I'm going to tell people, like, you need to make a new point. That's my role as a chair.
It's good.
Anyway, thank you. Okay, cool. I'll take that as a comment. Yes.
I call the question.
Okay, the question has been called. Can I have a name?
Jackson.
Jackson, do I have a second? Alex, second. So we're voting on whether to call the question, which means we end the debate, and then we move directly to a vote. So we're voting on whether to vote. It needs a 2/3 majority to pass. All those in favor of ceasing discussion and voting on this, please raise your hand. Thank you. Please put down your hands. All those against, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Please put down your hands. So yeah, we just have to double check with the mezzanine that there's not some huge difference, but yeah. Okay, all right, so that means we have a clear majority in favor. We're moving, point of order.
Point of order. I just think it's out of respect. We should ask people to stop taking photos when we have our cards in the air. I just don't think that's right. That counts for all of those down with the link. My apologies for calling you out. You're a student journalist. You should know this, and everyone else as well. Thank you.
Yeah. We're going to move directly to a vote on this item right now because the question has been called. So now we're voting on this set of rules. So if you're voting for, that means you agree. If you vote against, that means you disagree. All those in favor of this procedural motion, please raise your hands now. Thank you. Please put down your hands. All those against, please put up your hands. Thank you. Please put down your hands. The reason for the delay with the final vote is because we want to receive word from the mezzanine from the people counting votes there. Just telling you people in the mezzanine that we actually are counting you. Okay, great. Clear vote in favor. So these will be the procedural rules for the remainder of the meeting. According to these rules, the promoters of the motions now have 10 minutes to present the two motions to motivate them, and then we'll move to an open discussion. So everyone lurking around the microphones, please take a seat.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. So I just wanted to start off. Again, my name is Dana Ballantyne. I'm one of the petitioners here. I wanted to give a little bit of context for the motions that we're voting on tonight. I'm sure many of you have read them already and you have your opinions already coming into this meeting. But I did want to make it very clear the CSU, the Concordia Student Union, does not have the capacity to enforce these positions. What you are voting on tonight is to request for us, your student representatives, to bring this to the university's administration, as they are the ones who have the capacity to make these changes. So should you choose to vote yes to the motions that we have on the agenda tonight, it does not mean that anything is immediately going into effect. It doesn't mean that your student life is immediately going to change. What it means is that we, your student representatives, are now obligated to take this to the next level. With that in mind, I just wanted to give a bit of context on why this SGM was brought forward. So yeah, the special general meeting of the CSU was called by a petition and presented to the CSU Council. It was promoted in accordance with CSU bylaws 5.1 and 5.3. According to bylaw 5.3.1, people at this meeting can amend such proposed resolutions to the extent that such amendments pertain to the same topic as the original resolution. And of course, in accordance with bylaw 5.3.3, sorry. We will now present, so here we are. That being said, this SGM is called in the context of significant political action by Concordia student body in solidarity with Palestine over the past year and a bit, which includes major student strikes and already existing BDS votes that have occurred at the faculty level, for example, in the Arts and Science Student Association and the Fine Arts Student Association. There have also been votes that have been passed at multiple departmental levels, including the Sociology and Anthropology Student Union and the Geography Undergraduate Student Society, among others. These demands have primarily been ignored by the Board of Governors of this university, which is why this vote has now been called to kind of push this further and make sure that the Board of Governors no longer has an excuse and can no longer ignore student demands should we make this demand tonight. So thank you so much.
Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Vanessa. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm the academic and advocacy coordinator at the CSU. I'm also one of the petitioners. So first I'm going to read the first motion with some friendly amendments, and then we'll read the second one. Okay. Okay, yeah, you can follow along behind me. So, whereas Boycott, Divest, and Sanctions, BDS, is a long-established international strategy in solidarity with Palestinian liberation from Israeli apartheid, and Israel relies upon political, financial, and military support from countries in the global north, such as Canada and the United States, and relies on the support and investment of institutions like Concordia University to continue their genocide against the Palestinian people. Whereas significant portions of the student body of Concordia have been engaged in prolonged political mobilization to bring BDS-aligned demands to the university through means of mass demonstrations, walkouts, strikes, and other actions, including 2, FASA and ASFA, of the 4 faculty associations, which represent 15,000 graduate students at Concordia, adopting BDS positions in favor of a free Palestine. Whereas Concordia is complicit of collaboration and support of Israel and its institutions, most notably the Azrieli Institute of Israel Studies, funded by the Azrieli Foundation, and the Bar Ilan Field School program called Constructing the Israeli Identities. Whereas the Concordia Student Union has an obligation to oppose apartheid, including by divesting, as voted in the spring general election 2022. Whereas Concordia holds financial investments that directly or indirectly fund the Israeli occupation, most notably BlackRock, who are major investors in weapons manufacturers Lockheed Martin and Northrop Grumman, and Bank of Montreal, who approved a $90 million loan to weapons manufacturer Elbit Systems in 2001. Be it resolved that the CSU adopt the following demands and advocate for changes in line with these demands. So first is disclose with full transparency the entirety of the university's financial investments in order to determine the extent of investments which are complicit in or benefit from militarized violence, war, colonialism, apartheid, and genocide. A, provide a transparent and accessible breakdown of the Concordia University Intergenerational Fund, CUIF, as it currently stands, i.e. naming what companies we have investments in, what banks, firms oversee these funds. B, establish and publish quarterly reports on the CUIF's investment portfolio. 2 is divest the entirety of financial investments which are currently held in funds complicit in or which benefit from militarized violence, war, colonialism, apartheid, and genocide. A, end the employment partnerships with Bombardier, Lockheed Martin, CAE, Pratt & Whitney, and Airbus. B, permanently suspend any existing memorandum of understanding and refrain from entering into any new memorandum of understanding with Israeli universities, as well as its Summer in Israel program, its field school in Israel, the Goldie and Joe Raymer Travel Fellowship, and the Naim Melab Student Travel Award, and any other programs and partnerships which facilitates and encourages the exchange with and normalization of Israeli academic institutions. Establish and publish quarterly regular reports on the progress of divestment. Also, I just want to point out there's a typo. It's Pratt & Whitney, not Pratty. Hee. Also, First Amendment for divest is that Concordia University provides suitable alternatives of equal quality to these employment partnerships. So point 3 is defend student activists from sanctions due to their actions in solidarity with Palestinian liberation. A, drop the Office of Rights and Responsibilities cases against student activists who have been charged with ORR violations due to their action in solidarity with Palestinian liberation. B,
please keep the meeting in order, thank you.
Reinstate and re-enroll students who have been suspended from the university.
Hold on, just one moment, continue.
Drop the Office of Rights and Responsibilities cases against...
All right, just a moment. Point of order. I think that this is, I'll take that as a general comment, but it's, all I can do is tell people not to do it. At this stage, that is. If it keeps going in the meeting, I do have other enforcement mechanisms, and it does stop the time and it does slow down the meeting. So let's just keep it to the speakers for now. Thank you.
Okay, so I'll start back at 3. Defend student activists from sanctions due to their actions in solidarity with Palestinian liberation. Drop the Office of Rights and Responsibilities cases against student activists who have been charged with ORI violations due to their action in solidarity with Palestinian liberation. B, reinstate and re-enroll students who have been suspended from the university due to their action in solidarity with Palestinian liberation. C, cut the private security contract with Perceptage International. D, end the practice of Concordia Safety and Prevention Services,
Please.
CSPS, conducting
No
citizens
tearing.
arrests. Commit to fundamentally limiting the presence of the SPVM on campus through all available avenues. 4 is declare support for a full arms embargo and end all military contracts between Canada and Israel, and publish a statement which recognizes and condemns the genocide against the
Pause the
Palestinian
time.
people.
Sorry, please pause. Seriously, we need to listen to each speaker as they come along. Thank you.
And then there is a final amendment under the declare. This is also a friendly amendment. That Concordia University reinstate the long-standing practice of department political statements. I'm going to go right into motion 2 as soon as I have a sip of water.
I'm just going to make clear in a moment how these amendments are going to work, but I believe you still have time to continue the presentation. Is someone else speaking? Okay, great.
Okay, so now we're moving to the second motion. This one is much shorter. Motion 2 is to bring BDS to BOG, which is Board of Governors, the highest governing body at Concordia University. Whereas the demands of the student movement in solidarity with Palestine have not yet been formally presented to the Concordia Board of Governors. Whereas it is the Board of Governors are the highest governing body of the university and have the power to enact and materialize these demands. Whereas it is the responsibility of the Concordia Student Union executive team to represent the interests of the students. Be it resolved that the executive team of the Concordia Student Union are mandated by the students to bring motion 1, disclose, divest, defend, declare, to the Board of Governors for a vote at the next BOG meeting, i.e. February 6, 2025. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Just hold on for a moment. Are you speaking again? Okay, just one moment. I just need to clarify the amendments. Okay, I just want to provide a bit of context. We had 2 amendments that were added to the motion last minute, and this is permitted by the rules of order because, number 1, it doesn't change the essentially the main thrust of the motion, and number 2, it was essentially agreed on by all the parties to people who put them, who promoted the petition before the meeting, and so they can put it forward. The justification for this and how this came about is that for people who were planning to come here and make modifications to this, they went and they spoke to the promoters of the petition in advance, and if there is agreement about the changes that were going to be made, then there was no point dragging everybody in the meeting through the procedure of adding amendments and then voting on them one by one. And so these essentially minor modifications were added in, and they are permitted to do so according to the rules of order. So I should say that if for whatever reason you feel like these amendments are, you don't agree with them, that you feel like they change the substance of the motion, then strangely you will need to do an amendment to strike them from the motion, and that can be entertained and that's allowed. But just to explain that the rationale behind this was to save us time and to prevent us from arguing over amendments that everybody already agreed on or were just fine with. So that's how these 2 changes came about, and they should be now highlighted on the screen. The first one Yep, Concordia University restate the long-standing practice of department political statements. And then there was the other one in the main motion, that Concordia University provides suitable alternatives of equal quality to those employment partnerships. These were two amendments that were agreed upon by the promoters and people putting forward amendments earlier. Yeah. But the petitioners are the people who brought forward the motions. Well, yes, because I had to do that when the meeting was called. Okay, so yes, point of information. Okay, so now we're going to start with the, what's the point of information? Yes, we're going to start it once the debate opens, which it's about to start. Yes. So I'm now going to open debate on the motion. So if you'd like to discuss the motion, then please go up to one of these two microphones and start lighting up now. All right, I'm going to start with the person on the right. Can you please, just a reminder for everybody that you need to indicate your name when you come up so we can record who's spoken and how many times they've spoken. So we have the first speaker on the right. Thank you.
All right. Amazing. Is it okay? I think everyone here knows their stance.
Sorry, can we have your name?
Ali, A-L-I.
Ali, thank you.
Yeah. I think everyone here knows their moral stance on Palestine and Gaza, and I'd like to call motion 1, disclose, divest, defend, declare to question.
So because we've already agreed to vote on both motions en bloc, we would have to call, we're debating both motions, so it would have to call it for both motions, if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay, Ali has called the question, which means that we cease debate and we proceed immediately to a vote. This procedural motion, I need a seconder. Can I please have order? I need a seconder.
Mohammed, I second.
Mohammed seconds.
Yes.
This is a non-debatable motion. We proceed immediately to a vote, and we need a 2/3 majority for it to pass. All those in favor?
Point of order.
What's the point of order? What's the point of order?
The point of order is that we're here to debate, to end the discussion.
No, I'm sorry, but that's not a point of order. The Assembly is allowed to decide how it wants to spend its time. All those in favor, please raise your hand to call the vote. We have to wait for the mezzanine. Please put down your hand. All those against calling the question, please put up your hand now. Please put down your hands. Just a moment. Order in the room, please. Okay, it's a majority. What's the point of order? We didn't vote specifically on that. I'm sorry. So we're now moving directly to a vote on the two motions without any further discussion. So as I said earlier, we're going to count the votes on this motion to ensure that it's correct. So I need all people who are currently standing up to sit back down, and I need people who are getting ready to count the votes. Can you just please, if you're counting the votes, just please indicate you're on the sides. What's the point of order? Yes, but if the question is called, that means the debate's over. They passed with a clear 2/3 majority, so that means there's not a desire for the debate. So we're going to move directly to a vote on the motion. You're going to need to put up your hand for a while for us to count the votes, so it'll take a minute or two. Just a reminder that we're double counting the votes. So we're just going to be sure in each segment. So please, if you're standing up, please sit down because your vote won't be counted if you're standing up. If you're not going somewhere where you're just going to be able to sit because you can't move between different areas. Just to be clear, we're counting it by segment. If you're not in a segment, you're not going to be counted. Yep. And can the people at the front please make sure the doors are blocked? And this also means for the people who are in the mezzanine, no one can now come in or out during the vote. All those in favor of the motion, the two motions on the table, please raise your hand. Please be patient and keep your hands up. Yeah, please, I know it's very tempting to speak, but imagine trying to count and then the room is very loud. It will make it last a long time. Thank you.
It's okay, you'll get it next time.
Come on. Guys, seriously. We'll be here all night counting everybody if we keep making comments. Yeah. Guys, no debate. We're doing a vote.
I'm sorry, they're filming. I don't consent to this. They're filming over there.
Guys, no debate. We're doing the vote. Please, the poor vote counters have to count everybody twice. Thank you for being patient. We're nearly done. We're getting some of the votes in now. Please, order in the room. Thank you. Please. Sorry, everyone. I I know that this is taking a while, but we're counting everyone's vote twice. Like, we're counting everyone and we're double checking it so that it's like 100% legit. You know what I mean? No doubt, we did the vote properly. So it's taking a little time because there is a lot of people here. I don't know if you've looked around, but it's pretty busy. Yeah. Please, order. I've asked for order. Hey, order, everyone. Hey, call to order. We're counting the votes. Call to order. Can we have some silence, please? Can we have some silence, please? We're counting the votes. So we need order. Counting the votes. I'm sorry, but I can't entertain that. Like,
Point of order. Just a second.
Guys.
Point of order to the chair as part of decorum rules.
Nope.
Calling, entitling people.
No, we can only accept because we're in the middle of a vote. Because we're in the middle of a vote, we can only accept points of order about the vote. And we're counting the vote. Everybody, please stop moving around. You're going to make the lives of the people counting the votes really difficult. We want to be out of here. It's nearly finished. We just want to make sure that the votes are properly counted. Thank you very much for being patient. We're nearly finished. Please, I know it's a long wait, but we're double counting the votes. We're being really sure about the count because we want to be sure about the count. And if any disruption to the vote, we have to start again. And we don't want to do that, obviously. So let's just stay here. We're nearly finished. Thank you. Please, point of order. Please, order. Guys, order. No discussion. We're just doing the vote. Guys, no cross chat. I'm sorry, but that's not a point of order. That's not a point of order. I'm sorry. Okay. Okay. All right. Hands down. Thank you, everyone. We've now got to count the votes against the motion. So all those against, please put up your hands. No cross chat. No cross chat. I know everyone's very excited, but we're close to finishing. No cross chat. No discussion about other people. We're finishing. Guys, no discussion. We're doing the vote. Right, you can put your hands down. I have a result of the count. So the motion is 885 for and 58 against, so it passes. As all of the items on the agenda have been exhausted, I'm adjourning the meeting. Thank you very much. See you at the next SGM.